A great Friday morning. Welcome to Idabel Game Day, also known the Friday Morning Coaches Show right here on Idabel's First 96.7 KBEL. And just left for 9:30 on this Friday morning. Thanks for tuning in. We've got a big district ball game over the mountain as the Warriors head to Muldrow. We've got Coach Kincaid here in the studio. I'd like to thank him for joining us as always. And first thing I want to ask you about, your junior high teams made the trip over to Broken Bow yesterday. How did that turn out? Sorry, I wasn't able to make that trip.
Yes, sir. Broken Bow Middle School last night, 7th grade lost a close one, I believe, 6-0 or 8-6, and the 8th graders lost. I believe it was 12-8 in that one, or 14-8. They fought hard. 8th grade game came down to a goal line stand, and they unfortunately got in with about 18 seconds left. It left us about 13 on the clock to go make a play down the field. We had about a 60-yard run by Mike and Murray that got called back with about 11 seconds left in the game. We got down to about the 20-yard line, would have gave us a real chance to win it. But those middle school kids, they played hard. They were really emotional after the loss. But I'm happy with the way they fought and the way that they're learning and growing. We're seeing a lot of improvement there with them.
And quick reminder, they'll be back at it Monday evening. The middle school teams will host Durant. Now, is that middle school or is JV playing?
Just middle school.
Okay.
We did add to our JV schedule though the 20th, the following Monday after that one. We will host Kingston JV.
Ooh,
all right, at 6:30.
Okay. So Monday, come out to Warrior Nation Stadium. Check out the middle schoolers. They got one last home game against the Durant Lions. So we're going to go ahead and get into looking ahead to this week's game. We're going to go back last week real quick. Of course, it's great to get the win, 28-7 over Stigler. As I was watching things develop, especially early on, it seems like there was some, I guess you could say, some meat left off the bone. Was there anything that you went back and looked in film and worked to improve on that could be used tonight?
Yeah, we could have executed a little bit better on offense, especially early on. Like I said last week, shout out to our defense for keeping us in that game early on. It could have went south fast. So tonight, we talked about getting going early offensively. Taking advantage of some of the things that they do defensively, schematically for Muldrow, and hopefully that we can take advantage early and get our offense rolling.
Okay, speaking of Muldrow, what are your thoughts on the Bulldogs? Just let's start big picture wise.
Muldrow's a good team. They have a big senior class right now, and this is, I know for their staff and them that this is their year where they think they can get into the playoffs right here, and sneak into it. And I believe that winner of this game will make the playoffs, and I believe that it should be us. And we'll have another chance down the road if we aren't able to. But I know that this team's prepared to go up here and take one over the mountain. Versus this really good Muldrow team. They have good athletes. They're decent up front. They're decently sized. They're not the biggest, but they work hard. They're not the best, blockers, but their athletes, really keep them in the game.
Yeah, I noticed athleticism all over the field, especially once you get into that back seven, your linebackers and your secondary. But the name everybody's going to be thinking about is Tegan Collins, their quarterback. Guy's about 6'2", 6'3", right around 200 pounds. Does a bit of everything. He's their quarterback. He plays DB. He returns kicks. He is also their punter. So you'll see a lot of number one in maroon tonight if you happen to make that trip. And then got a couple other things we'll get to later. I noticed on fourth down, he's almost at his own will on, hey, do I want to run it? Do I want to go ahead and kick this ball away? Is that something that you notice, or do you think that they tell, hey, kick this ball away?
Yeah, we watched them. It's more so his decision type of thing. I noticed that whenever he bobbles it, he's 90% of the time going to run it. He's not looking to try to get the kick off. He's looking to use his athleticism to get to the edge. And, he's been stopped before. He's picked up first downs before. It's goes a little bit both ways there. But, with a kid like that talented, you put that decision in his hands there. It could cost you some games there. So, we've talked about how preparing for it. how to keep him closed in there. And we told him if he does bobble it, he's going to run it. So we have to be prepared for it. Hopefully, they get clean snaps, clean holds, and they punt the ball off to us, and we get the offense back on the field.
Yeah. Really great runner, but not necessarily the greatest passer out there. He does connect on the deep ball every now and again, and it looks good because he has a trio of receivers that can go get the ball in 21, number 5, and I'll also say number 7. And then the running back, he will also, line up to his right or left and then get out in the slot on whatever side. So, and he's a pretty good pass catcher too, but he does miss on some throws, correct?
Yes. Yeah. He's not the most accurate guy in the world by any means. Hopefully we can keep him boxed in and make him a true passer of the football. We can stay over the top of some of those really good athletes tonight and not give up the deep ball. He's a better deep ball thrower than he is intermediate to short passing wise. That kid, Tegan Collins, he's an amazing athlete. He comes from a family of athletes. He's a really good kid, a good athlete. I do notice that, he has been a little banged up in the past, ankle or shin or something like that's a little banged up where it's caused him to limp in some games, and I don't know if it's because they've been down and it's almost like a little bit of a loser's limp, or if it's just kind of, he may be really banged up. I've been saying he's a little bit banged up, but, after a big play, you kind of see a spark, where that limp goes away. Or something like that. So hopefully we keep him bottled up tonight and force him to throw the ball intermediate to underneath, and we come rally and make tackles, and that's kind of the game plan defensively.
Absolutely, great athlete, family of athletes. I do believe I covered his sister when she was playing basketball in Muldrow. She went on to play first at Oklahoma State and then transferred over to Auburn. I'm not sure if she's in the WNBA or she's playing overseas, but the dad, came from Oklahoma State, basketball player, so really athletic family. Watching on offense, most of the time they like to operate out and spread. I did see that I don't know what you call it, but it looks like they line up in a stacked I formation. Especially you will see that in short yardage and your goal-to-goal situations. And even then, the ball's still going to end up with Collins trying to punch it in.
Yeah. They'll line up in the Maryland I, which is 2 fullbacks and a running back behind them, 4 stack back, double tight formation. We ran it all week, practicing and getting ready for it. We've been prepared for quarterback bootleg, quarterback sneak, ISO, toss, a lot of different things that they can do out of the formation, play action pass. We've been kind of aware of it all and kind of situationally getting prepared for it. Our kids have, they're calling it out. They know what to do. They know our checks to jump into, what to jump into when they come out in it. So, I'm excited for that. That I don't think they'll stay in it early. I think they'll mainly, hopefully they'll jump into their empty stuff, whether it's quads to one side and once run receiver backside or a 3-by-2 formation empty, where they do have that running back and they'll motion both receivers both sides of the ball.
Quick question. Who lined up at quarterback for the scout team was doing all this in practice?
Papa. Papa.
Good guy to have back there. I mean, I know he's not 6'2", 195, but he's got every bit of speed.
Yes.
So, that's definitely a good look. I think they would prefer to run the ball more, once you, have a second and short and second and manageable. But once again, they do like to throw it. Now, I know you've had to stress to the defense, wrap up that ball carrier. I don't care if it's Collins, if it's their running back or whoever the receiver is, wrap up that ball carrier. Because I noticed that last week a little bit that the Stigler ball carriers slipped all out of a tackle or two, especially that quarterback. And especially on a night like tonight, definitely got to wrap up the ball carrier, hold him up, let the cavalry get him, as my old coach would say, and, get a good lick in on that receiver. I know some of these teams have gotten some good shots in on Collins these last 2 games, especially against Eufaula and Shakota. And Shakota pulled that one out in the last 30 seconds of a game. Muldrow kicks a field goal from about 42 yards out to take the lead, 17-14. I want to say there's about 4 minutes left. Shakota goes all the way down, scores with about 12 seconds left, and it was just heartbreaking for them. But that's life in district ball games, especially on the road. So And we've covered wrapping up, and let's switch it over to their defensive side of the ball. They line up in 3-man front, decent size up front. And what have you seen as far as being able to find openings in the run or pass game?
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what they come out in versus us. I know versus Dakota, they try to come out in a zone look, and then they eventually adjusted back to man. They've been primarily man to man all season long, sending different kind of pressure. They're running a 3-3-5 stack. They just run it a little funky, not a true 3-3-5 stack, but that's their alignments of it. 3 backers, 3 linemen. They've been playing man to man a lot, so I'm interested to see if they're going to come out and play man versus us, because we will be the most athletic team that they've seen all year so far. In terms of speed, athleticism, we will be the most athletic team. So I'm really interested to see how they come out and play us. We'll come out with a little bit of feeler stuff to see how they line up to some different formations, see what their checks are. Hopefully we get a lot of man-to-man tonight. That'll open up the passing game for us, allow us to really have our way there with our man-beater routes and situational stuff, and let our guy be better than their guy.
Right, and especially when you got Benny and Jordan running routes. Somebody's going to be open, and we can get that ball down the field to them. Good things happen. They've happened all year long, and hopefully they'll keep continuing tonight. And another thing I wanted to get into, whatever y'all ran last week to spring Jay-Sean Dixon, that was a great play. What was that?
I was just outside zone. We just he just stretched out the defense and he found a crease, stuck his foot in the ground and got vertical. So
yeah, and got a little breakaway speed to him too. That was about it. I think I had it at 68, but looking back on film, you could give him 69, maybe as much as 70 on that score. Just that's not just fudging the stats or anything like that. That looked like that was a legit 70-yard touchdown run. So I want to be careful. Coach Hargrove may be looking for you when track rolls around. So that breakaway speed and score some light show after we get in the end zone. They're solid. Muldrow's really solid on special teams. I saw that they returned the kick for a score against Eufaula. They got a good kicker. He can kick one in from about 40, 42 yards. And it's just the point of you have to be solid in all aspects of the game tonight to go up north and get this win. Also, they are prone to penalties and turnovers. I saw them turn the ball over. I see they get flagged for holding. There might have been a couple of 15 yards I've seen because I watched their last 2 ball games against Eufaula and Chicago. There were flags being thrown on both sides of the ball in all aspects. Take advantage of that wherever possible because you get a shorter field to that next first down. That's always good to have. That opens up your playbook. Have y'all mentioned that with the team throughout the week?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. Comparing them to Stigler a little bit. Stigler's a lot more disciplined defensively than they are. They are really, really more athletic. Which is what they rely on. They do rely on their athleticism to make them plays. But they do gamble a lot. Secondary gambles on underneath things. They trigger on the first move they see. So don't be surprised to see some double moves or things like that tonight from our guys. But we are excited about this offensively and then defensively. We're excited about the opportunity to go out there and contain this kid because, like we talked about earlier, he is an athlete that can go. And as long as we keep him boxed in, like I think we'll be able to with the scheme we're running. I do believe that we'll come away with the win. They're a good football team, like you said. They're a solid football team. Special teams don't expect us to kick it back there to them. Back there, we won't kick it to 8 or 1. We want to keep it out of their hands as much as possible. But they are a good football team. But I believe that we're a better football team, and that as long as we go out and execute, we should be coming back home with the win.
Absolutely. And be sure prepare the players. It seems like whenever you go north over the mountain, there's always a little bit of adversity that you may have to face, and that could be in the form of a great play being called back or just any little things or just something to watch out for. And it's always, let's hit that next play after that. And that being covered, let me ask you about the health of the team. I know Monday during the JV game, what happened to Tyrann Matthews? It looked like a hand or wrist issue that he had to leave the game.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, man. His hand, it got stuck in the top of the face mask of a Broken Bow player. So kids from Broken Bow face mask had broken off. One of the latches had broken, and it kind of opened up. And Kyron's wrist had got stuck within the top of the helmet and the face mask where it connects, and it was just kind of stuck there. They were in there rolling around a little bit. I believe it's a slight fracture in the wrist right there. Took him to go get X-rays, get him checked out there. He's in good spirits. He's all right. He'll be out for a little bit of time there, but we hope Kyron gets back to health and back healthy and keeps in good spirits, for us.
Okay, and then I understand Bryce B is dealing with a meniscus issue.
Yeah, no, I mean everything came back negative. No tears. All ligaments are good in the knee. No meniscus tears. More like a back of the knee strain. One of the muscles on the back of the knee that run up. It's a really, really bad strain. The same injury he had got during our red and black scrimmage. So he kind of re-injured that again. He was out versus Antlers scrimmage and then came back for Valiant, hurt it again early on. And so he's kind of been dealing with this thing kind of lingering. It's kind of happened, but no major injury there. He will be out tonight, just rest him up a little bit more. Hopefully we can get him back next week or the week after that, so.
Right. He's definitely going to be needed as district play wears on. Good to see Crew Corsi out there last week. He was among the leading tacklers for Idabel last week. We got anybody else that's dealing with anything lingering, or it's always Quincy Pond. He's battling through that shoulder.
Yes, sir.
Definitely had a good game on defense last week, and you could always use 6'1", 220 in the backfield. Cramming things up the middle. So he'll be able to play. Right.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he's good. He's good to go. I think the only two we have out are Kyron and Bryce B this week. Not having them is going to hurt a little bit, but glad to have guys like Crew Corsi and Quincy Pond back at full health. Got those guys going the chance to go get some rehab and work on their body a little bit. And so I'm glad that they're getting their bodies taken care of and getting healthy. Healthier than they already are. Making sure that we continue that. And as long as we stay healthy, we're a dangerous team.
All right. I think we got about everything covered here. I mean, it's lengthy trip over the mountain. It's, mileage wise, it's not that far, but once you get into, LaFleur County, you got some roads that you got to slow down on. So everybody that plans on making that trip, do as you need to, and, be careful getting up there. It's going to be a little different. Band's not going to be there. They have a big contest in Edmond tomorrow, their state contest. So we'll be missing, a lot of the sound. And hopefully we have a lot of folks from Idabel make the trip. So with that being said, I'd like to give you a chance to offer final words for your nation.
Yeah, just what Cornelius just said there, guys. Band's not going to be there to cheer us on. Hopefully they do a great job at their state competition at Edmond. Good luck to them. But we're going to need some energy from you guys this week, and whether it's just cheering, yelling, cowbells, whatever it may be, bring the energy, because I know Mojo's going to have a pretty packed out crowd. They usually have a good crowd there and a good environment. So hopefully we can match their environment. We're going to match our energy. We create our own energy regardless. But I know it's a long trip. Hopefully you guys can come out and support our kids and support them as, we go out and fight and compete.
Folks, thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back. We're going to get into some more info on KBL Game Day. We'll be right back after this break. Hey, we're good. Thanks for stopping by.
Always, man. Always. Yep. See you tomorrow morning after the win.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a whole page of OU text and stuff you can read too, but that can wait till tomorrow. Let's knock this one out tonight. As I understand it, it sounds like Latier is going to play.
Yeah, I think he's going to play. I don't think he'll miss this one. It's the only one he'll ever get. I don't think he'll miss it.
Right.
So, all right, see you.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Mhm.
When the Warriors hit the field, it takes strength, grit, and the right equipment to win the battle. And when it comes to your farm, the same rules apply. Lovewell Farm Supplies in Idabel is your hometown team for farm equipment, repairs, parts, tires, batteries, and custom hydraulic hoses. They carry trusted names like Creeper and Premier to keep your operation rolling strong all season long. Just like you have the Warriors fight for every yard, Lovewell fights for every customer with honesty, service, and hometown pride. Lovewell Farm Supplies, 301 South Indian Road in Idabel, proud supporter of Warrior football.
Welcome back to KBL Game Day right here on Idabel's first 96.7 KBEL. Week 7, heading into getting deeper into district play here. And we're going to get into the district and area games for this week. First, let's talk about the standings. Right now, you have Lincoln Christian and Shakota 1 and 2 in district play. Lincoln Christian has it by way of district points. They have their full complement of 30 points in district play because they won, and they won by big margins last week. They shut out Holland Hall 62-0. Shakota eked out a win over Muldrow last week, 21-17. Then behind those two teams, you have 4 other teams with 1-1 records in district play, starting with Eufaula, then Holland Hall, then Idabel, then Muldrow. We're all at 1-1 in district play. Eufaula is currently 3rd with 14 district points. Holland Hall and Idabel are technically tied for 4th with 0. And then Muldrow is behind us with a -3. And then rounding out the bottom of the district, you got Stigler and Locust Grove. They're both with the -30. They are winless in district play. And Stigler's got 1 win on the season. Locust Grove is 0-5 so far. So that takes you into this week's games for in district play. You got Eufaula making the trip over to Tulsa to take on Holland Hall. The Dutch will look to bounce back. They got shut out by Lincoln Christian last week, as I just mentioned, but I doubt Eufaula makes it easy. They play hard, and they got a really good running back that they're going to definitely have the ball in his hands. His name is Peter Lee. We'll definitely talk about him here in the next couple of weeks. So, I mean, I think Holland Hall will win that one, but I don't think Eufaula will make it easy. Next, Lincoln Christian at Locust Grove. That is your top of class 3A against the bottom team in your district. This one can get ugly fast. And not that far of a trip from Tulsa over to Locust Grove. And then finally, this one could be interesting. Shakota at Stigler. Something about playing at Stigler, at their field. Seems like a little magic happens, especially when they have a decent team. I recall last year, definitely thought we should have beat Stigler at their place. It was their homecoming night. We ended up losing by 1 point in overtime. So that'll be a game to watch out for. We'll have those scores during halftime and throughout the game tonight as we're in Muldrow. Now, getting into games in the area. Broken Bow will also be heading over the mountain. They'll be taking on Stillwell. Savages head over the mountain to take on the Indians. They're looking to bounce back after a home loss against a really good Sallisaw team. They lost that one last week, 40-30. We were trying to keep track of that while we were in the press box back in Idabel last week. So kind of surprising that, but Sallisaw has a really good team to their credit. Also in the area, Hugo making the trip up the turnpike and on the highway, 69 up to Omogi. They're looking for a district win as well. Hugo suffered a close, heartbreaking loss at home to Bethel last week, 28-26. So it's a good opportunity to get back on the right track on the road over in Omogi. And then finally, the one home game in the county, if you're looking to go watch some football live, Henrietta will be making the trip down to take on Valiant. Valiant's undefeated. They are rolling right now. And I do think this will be a pretty good contest. I feel like Valiant will win, but it may not be the cakewalk that folks may think it is. And, things are winding down in district play. Valiant will have a couple of challenges. This will be one of them. I think Wilburton will be a good challenge for them, and that's week 9, and then to round out the regular season. you have buy-in coming to Bulldog Stadium. So we'll talk about those games during halftime, and we'll give you the scores when we come back Saturday morning. So we got one more thing to get into, which will be the game day info and forecast. We're going to take a quick time out. We'll be right back. You're listening to KBL Game Day right here on Idabel's First, 96.7 KBEL.
Warrior Pride runs deep in Iowa, and Friday nights bring the whole community together. The Choctaw Casino and the district are proud supporters of Warrior football all season long. After the final play, students don't have to head home. The fun continues with the fifth quarter at the district until 11. Enjoy music, friends, and half-price bowling in a safe, exciting place to celebrate. Warrior spirit doesn't stop at the game. It lives on at the fifth quarter at the district and the Idabel Choctaw Casino.
When the Idabel Warriors take the field, it's all about power and performance. And that's exactly what you'll find at Southeast Off-Road, right here in Idabel. From motorcycles to ATVs and side-by-side, Southeast Off-Road has the machines to take you from the dirt roads to the backwoods and everywhere in between. Stop by and see the full lineup at 1312 Southeast Washington Street in Idabel, your hometown headquarters for power sports. That's Southeast Off-Road, proud supporter of Warrior football.
Welcome back to KBL Game Day right here on Idabel's First, 96.7 KBEL. 10 o'clock hour is quickly approaching, so we're going to get to our final segment, the game day info and forecast. For those making the trip to Muldrow tonight is their designated pink out night, so if you haven't had a pink Warrior shirt, by all means, support breast cancer awareness and rock that shirt if you'd like to. I know we have our pink out night here in a couple of weeks, so yes, their pink out night in Muldrow. Talk to somebody up in the press box. Their gates open at 5:30 at Bulldog Stadium. I do believe it's Aubrey J. Hensley Bulldog Stadium in Muldrow. It's right there by the high school. So gates open at 5:30. For those that can't make it, but they do want to watch, Muldrow does stream their games on YouTube. Look for Muldrow Communications, and it should pop up their broadcast. And mute their audio and tune in to Idabel's First, 96.7 KBEL. Also, our games are also on Q102 this year. And don't forget, if you are, our streaming still works. The KBEL967.com, that is still available. So you're going to be able to get the coverage of Idabel Warrior football one way or another. Let's see here. What else do we have here? I need to flip. Now, for those making the trip to Muldrow, going over the mountain is the fastest, most direct route. We'll have you there in about 2 hours and 45 minutes, assuming that you shoot straight up there. Whatever maps app you use, Google, Waze, whatever, Apple, punch in Muldrow High School, that will get you right there to the high school. The football stadium is right there. You be sure to follow the turn-by-turn directions. You'll go north on 259, and just hopefully you'll not encounter all the Texan traffic heading into Hochatown. I understand that it's fall break weekend in Texas, and not every Texas school district shares the same fall week. So that'll be something we have to deal with here for the next few weeks. But do have those maps on. Do pay attention to the audio, because they will tell you, hey, if there's any slowdowns, if there's any law enforcement activity that you might want to look out for, just be sure to slow down where you feel necessary. And just slow yourselves, and if you can, leave early so you avoid running into a bunch of Texas license plates on the way up, because I know that once you get from Broken Bow to Hochatown, that can take a little while. So you see, Texans also offer a friendly corn stand. They're just a friendly one, and we'll get into that tomorrow. The game day forecast is brought to you by Pine Cellular. Wind coverage matters most. The sun will now set before kickoff. We'll be a little further north. Fair skies in 75 is the suggested temp for kickoff. And then by the time game ends, temperature will drop down to around 67, and we'll drop even further. I know we had lows in the 50s last night, so if you need to bring some sleeves, by all means, do that. So you can, support your Warriors, but we also want you to be comfortable. We don't want you to catch cold or anything like that. Maybe there's some nice foliage to enjoy as you're making that trip north. Once again, straight up 259, and then turn off going to Heaver, and just follow your map, because that will get you right to Muldrow. Maybe you want to go eat somewhere along the way. You're not too far away from Fort Smith, so definitely hope to see a lot of folks in the visitor side stands. Our crew will be on the home side, pretty much on the porch of the press box, is what we were told. So that's going to do it for us for this morning's show. We're going to get out of here, and hey, thanks for tuning in. Any additional information we will share on the Cable Sports Facebook page. We'll send the link to for those who are interested in watching the ball game on YouTube. They do stream on YouTube. But once again, thanks for tuning in. Catch us tomorrow morning for the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. We'll go over stats, scores, and definitely get into some college football talk, especially the OU Texas game. I know that's of high interest, so you got time to get your snacks and goodies and things like that. So, hey, thanks for tuning in. We're going to get out here. We'll have this interview early 6 o'clock hour. Just tune in at the top of the hour. You'll catch your O&N news. You'll catch your weather. And then we'll have pregame right there. Have the interview right in the pregame with myself, Aaron Empson, and right seat driver himself, Lonnie Watson. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Back to the music right here on Idabel's First, 96.7 KBEL.
Idabel's First, 96.7 FM, Idabel, Broken Bow.
And what do we have here? Here.